Good afternoon, my dear students. I am back again with another Hindu newspaper to get analyzed. Today we shall be discussing the Hindu dated January 10 and 11. I am sure that you have come after reading the newspapers so as to have the best benefit of the program. We shall be discussing the events that happened and reported in these 2 days, and we shall be doing a few objective multiple choice questions based on these 2 newspapers. So I am very sure that you are keenly awaiting the questions to get answered. Please participate actively. I request your active participation so that we can make this program more useful. See, when I speak about all these incidences, it will get imprinted in your mind, plus the notes that I provide through the mobile application, that too you are asked to read periodically. So all these things will remain in your mind, so the chances of forgetting would be minimum, and don't think that you will forget things. Learning is all about trusting your memory, not suspecting it all the time. So don't worry, you will, or what we speak will get registered in your mind. Improve the time that you spend on newspapers, improve the time that you can manage on English, so that your language will also get improved. So we shall begin. Before I start, I request all of my students to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please like our Facebook channel and other social media channels, so that that will be a great encouragement to us. So let us begin with January 10 newspaper. Vaccination drive to start from January 16. So this was the good news to us. The COVID vaccination, the biggest vaccination program in the world, is going to start in India. Vaccination drive to start on January 26. Prime Minister Modi reviews readiness of center, states, health frontline workers to get priority. The COVID-19 vaccination drive in India will begin on January 16, with priority being given to an estimated 3 crore health workers and frontline workers. The ministry said that it would be followed by voluntary vaccination of people above 50 and those below 50 with comorbidities, numbering around 27 crore. The government had announced earlier that it had no plan to vaccinate all the population. The vaccination may stop when we are able to break further escalation or further spreading of infection. So it is not going to be a universal vaccination program as in the case of polio or diphtheria. We have got huge experience in vaccination program. We have successfully continuing with the 4 vaccination program, universal vaccination program. So, but of course the challenge here is to conduct the vaccination within a time period of say 2 to 3 years. Maybe a huge population, a mammoth population has to be vaccinated, and that too 2 doses in a short span of time, and that happens amid doubts regarding the efficacy of the vaccines, because this vaccines were invented in a short span of time. Generally it takes a lot of time to invent a vaccination and to take it into practical level of administering them. In the case of Spanish flu that shocked the world, another pandemic, the recent pandemic 100 years ago, the pandemic, when it spread out, it took 15 years. The vaccine was invented only in 1933. So in a short span of time, research was done, vaccination was invented, it was given approval, the trial tests were done, test run were done. So there are people who believe, people who matter, who believe that we have hurried a bit in coming out with the vaccination, but anyway it is a great relief to the whole society that we are able to administer the vaccine, and that will take the economy back on track. First question is given to you. 𝐃𝐿 International Airport is in. The first question to you, 𝐃𝐿 International Airport is in Seoul, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, Laos. What is your answer? Yes, let the answers come. The time is up. Quickly. Is it in Seoul? Is it in Jakarta? Is it in Kuala Lumpur? Or is it in Laos? Let more answers come. Only 2 people responded. I shall give the correct answer as and when I have enough responses. Okay. So, good. The answer is correct. It is Jakarta. Why was this news in the airport in the news recently? An Indonesian budget airlines plane with 62 people on board crashed into the sea here in Jakarta. So that is why the airport came into limelight. The airport is in Jakarta. An Indonesian budget airline with 62 passengers on board crashed into the sea just after taking off. Indonesian jet carrying 62 goes missing. Fishermen find plane debris in the sea. The Boeing aeroplane was carrying 50 passengers and 12 crew members. A major incident, a sad incident takes place in and that is a very noticeable one, so please take note of that. The second question, please read. Bhandara District General Hospital, where 10 infants were killed in a fire that swept through, not swept, swept through. Sorry for the mistake, that swept through. The sick and newborn care unit is in the state of, it is a typo, it is not swept, it is swept through. Bhandara District Hospital, where 10 infants were killed in a fire that swept through the sick and newborn care unit, is in the state of, which state? Yes, correct, it is in Maharashtra. Very unfortunate that these sort of incidences continue in India. A few years ago, many people died for the want of oxygen in the intensive care unit, that was in UP. Now a fire broke out in the intensive care unit in a district hospital. Mind you, we have got a 3-tier medical architecture. At the low level, it is at the lowest rung, it is the primary health center and the community health center, while the secondary healthcare units, district hospital and the taluka hospital, and at the higher level it is the tertiary or referral medical colleges. And it is quite unfortunate that at a higher hospital, district hospital, such a shocking incident takes place where 10 infants were killed in an accidental fire. Ten babies killed in a fire at the Maharashtra hospital. Bhandara District Hospital in Maharashtra, 7 infants, other infants where the units were rescued, a great tragedy. Prime Minister has ordered a complete audit of fire audit in all the hospitals in the state, but these are all shocking incidences, and these are all incidences that can be avoided if there is diligent effort on the part of authorities. Question number 3, please go through question number 3. An all-women cockpit crew fly into aviation history when it operates the inaugural flight going over the North Pole and taking the Atlantic route from San Francisco to which one of the following international airports in India? Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Cochin, none of these. What's your answer? Okay, I am awaiting your answer. Let there be more responses coming. The time is up. 𝐃𝐿. Yes, it is a sure shot question. I would say Bangalore is the correct answer. You are all right. Bangalore. It is a Bangalore International Airport. Very true, you all are correct. Bangalore International Airport. All women cockpit crew are flying an aircraft, direct aircraft from San Francisco to Bangalore. A very important news. Our women are creating history. Very, very important. 17 hours in air, women crew flying into history. Please read and take note. To my mind, it is going to be the sure shot of the day. It will come for your upcoming examinations. Please take note. An all-women cockpit crew will fly into aviation history on Saturday when it operates the inaugural San Francisco-Bengaluru flight going over the North Pole and taking the Atlantic route to reach the Karnataka capital at another part of the world. So they are coming from one continent to the other, one pole to the other, I would say. This will be the longest commercial flight in the world to be operated by Air India or any other airline in India. The total flight time of this route will be more than 17 hours depending on the wind speed on that particular day. Air India said in a statement. The direct distance between the two cities is 13,993 kilometers with a time zone change of around 13.5 hours. Air India's women power flies high around the world, says Union Minister for Civil Aviation Hardeep Puri. So please take note of the women in charge. All women cockpit crew consisting Captain Zoya Agarwal, Captain Papagari Tanmani, Captain Aksana Sonavar, Captain Shivani Manhas will operate the historic inaugural flight between Bengaluru and San Francisco. Please take note of their names also. Sometimes we do not know how the questions are going to come. British MPs flag farmers' protest. More than 100 members of British Parliament have signed a letter to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson asking him to raise the concerns of protesting farmers outside Delhi and the brute force employed against them in his discussion with Prime Minister Modi. Listen, our farmer strikes are getting international attention. More than 100 British members of Parliament have handed over a letter, signed document to Prime Minister of Britain asking him to discuss the matter with Indian Prime Minister. The letter dated January 5 notes that many constituents, especially those with links to Punjab and India, were horrified to see footage of water cannon, tear gas and brute force being used against hundreds of thousands of peacefully protesting farmers. The Indian diaspora and others have also joined in global protest in support of the farmers. Listen, we are not living in an isolated world, rather we are living in an interconnected world. We are living in a democracy. Our governments have only limited powers. So when we live in a global village, when we live in a connected world, one country or happenings in one country may be questioned by happenings in the other country. It should not be seen as an intrusion into our sovereignty, but it is a concern on humanity. On one side, farmers are peacefully protesting, and that too women, children and old aged farmers, and on the other side the government is using brute force against the protests. That is what is being criticized internationally. In the days to come, if government of India is not able to settle the matter amicably and peacefully, there will be international pressure on us, undoubtedly. The fourth question, pick out among the following the most correct statement regarding Madhav Singh Solanki, who died recently. He served as the Chief Minister of Gujarat 4 times. He served as the Union Cabinet Minister 2 times. He resigned as Union External Affairs Minister and as Chief Minister of Gujarat. All the above, A and B only, B and C only, A and C only, or none of these. Which is your answer? Please. Yes, let the answers come. Madhav Singh Solanki, a leader of eminence of yesteryears. We should know him. Okay, I've started getting the responses. Yes, quickly. Yes, the answer all the above is correct. He served as the Chief Minister of Gujarat 4 times. He served as the Union Cabinet Minister 2 times. He resigned as the Union External Affairs Minister and as Chief Minister of Gujarat. He resigned as the Union External Affairs Minister just after he handed over a written document to his Swedish counterpart that was in connection with the Bofors case. So that issue got escalated and he had to resign. Okay, his record of winning maximum seats in Gujarat is yet to be broken. He was a congressperson. Madhav Singh Solanki passes away. He served as the Union Minister in the Rajiv Gandhi and P.V. Narasimha Rao governments at the centre. He was External Affairs Minister from June 1991 to March 1992, a short period of time, but he had to resign following a controversy over his meeting with Foreign Minister of Switzerland in Davos. He had reportedly delivered a letter to his Swiss counterpart to scuttle the investigation into the alleged kickbacks in the Bofors deal. Oh, that's the reason. In 1985, he had to resign as a Chief Minister following anti-reservation riots in the state. So he had to resign both as the Union Cabinet Minister and as a Chief Minister of Gujarat. Indian vaccines ready to save humanity, says the Prime Minister. Yes, India is the world pharmacy, pharmacy of the world. So we are producing vaccines. There are many countries requesting vaccines from India. Brazil requests vaccines from India. So we have already sanctioned 2 vaccines, one from Hyderabad's biotech, the Covaxin, and another one by the Serum Institute of Pune, the vaccine developed by Oxford University and marketed by AstraZeneca. So these 2 vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, are to be manufactured widely in India, and we are proving again that we are the pharmacy of the world. Another proud moment for India. Bolsonaro seeks fast vaccine supply under considerable pressure to begin vaccine rollout, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi requesting the Indian government to export 2 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine Covishield being manufactured at the Serum Institute in Pune. The cost of these two vaccine candidates, Covishield and Covaxin, when compared to the vaccines developed in other parts of the world, is very low, very reasonable. So that is why we are going to benefit heavily. We are going to be the vaccine provider to most of the world. To ensure immediate implementation of Brazilian national program immunization, I would highly appreciate your good officers to expedite the shipment of 2 million doses of vaccine produced by Serum Institute to Brazil urgently, but as long as it does not impact the Indian vaccination program, says the Brazilian president. Okay, so that's it. They have requested 2 million vaccines, 20 lakh doses of vaccines for the vaccination program in Brazil. Deutsche Bank settles 100 million fine. A huge fine is imposed on Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank has agreed to pay a fine of more than 100 million to avoid a criminal prosecution on charges it participated in a foreign bribery scheme. Lawyers for the bank waived its right to face an indictment on conspiracy charges on Friday during teleconference with the federal jury in New York City. Mind you, fines imposed in America on banks are very huge. Their regulations are very, very tough and tight. So that is one of the reasons why banks in India are reluctant to open and operate branches in United States. Many banks have reduced the number of branches outside. Federal prosecutors, it is not just the cost involved in opening branches outside. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn didn't reveal the hearing which nations were involved. Previously, the bank has agreed to a Security and Exchange Commission. SEC is the American equivalent of India's SEBI. A fine of 16 million to resolve separate allegations of corrupt dealings in Russia and China. Deutsche Bank said it would have no immediate comment. Okay, we have completed January 10 and I'm moving on to January 11. Q3 private investment in manufacturing jumps 102%, a good news for the government. Protesters ransack venue of Haryana CM's meeting. A meeting was to be held in Haryana and to be attended by the Haryana Chief Minister, but the entire village where the meeting was supposed to take place was cordoned off, which was broken by protesting farmers, and finally the meeting had to be called off. Q3 private investment in manufacturing jumps. A continued rise in private investment in the third quarter, led by a 102% surge in manufacturing investments, helped India register a healthy 10.3% increase in fresh project spending in Q3 over the previous quarter. Okay. So it's a happy news for the government. A total of 2,085 projects were announced in Q3 financial year 2021. Investment in irrigation and electricity projects fell in Q3 as compared to Q2. Please read. This may not even come for the examination at all. Please read and try to understand how the economy moves. We have been going through bad times, but how slowly the economy is picking up, and what are the areas where the government is pinning its hopes on. Felled by fire, the Hindu writes on the deadly fire that snuffed out of the lives of 10 infants in Bandara District General Hospital in Maharashtra. It's a shocking reminder that safety norms in several medical facilities in India do not pass muster. Parents of the babies who perished in the sick newborn unit have been plunged into a lifetime of trauma. Some of the victims, a few just days old, had been brought to the hospital for better care from small health facilities. 7 had a providential escape. There are reports of poorly trained staff failing to respond adequately. The terrible blaze joins the long list of such accidents recorded in government and private hospitals, underscoring a painful reality. Safety protocols are yet to be institutionalized even in places where people legitimately expect a high degree of professionalism. Quite unfortunate that issues of this kind get reported in India frequently, and we through one side call ourselves on the march to become a developed nation, but through the other side such unfortunate incidences frequent. Center vista executive's caprice a rule of law. An executive's caprice means wavering mind, so a whimsical mind. So central vista, executive's caprice and rule of law. Please read, it is an article which is highly critical of the governmental decision to start the Central Vista project. We are going to spend around 11,000 plus crore for the project, and I have told you on the other day the quantity of solid waste that the project will create every day and the quantity of the huge kiloliters of water that the project will consume. Of course, there could have been better times to go for a project of this kind. COVID time may not be the right thing, and what at the end of the day we are going to make is also it's not a celebration time for the country. So please read, it is a highly critical article, but we should know both the sides. Please read. Question number 5. Pravasi Bharathiya Divas is observed on. Pravasi Bharathiya Divas. Please answer me. Yes, let me get more responses. Pravasi Bharathiya Divas, the answer is correct to many. It is option number 2, January 9. Pravasi Bharathiya Divas is observed on January 9. Very correct. Okay, I am proceeding. The next question. What was the theme of the Pravasi Bharathiya Divas 2021? Indian diaspora, loyalty unbridled, Apna Bharat, Apna Gaurav, role of Indian diaspora in building new India, redefining engagement with Indian diaspora, contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat. What is the theme of the Pravasi Bharathiya Divas 2021? A very important question. I remember same question was repeated for different years. Theme of Pravasi Bharathiya Divas 2020, 2019, these things were asked for different examinations, so it's very important. Many people answer it, contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat, the 5th option, and the answer is perfectly correct. Okay, I am proceeding to the next question. Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, who was the chief guest of the 2021 Pravasa Bharathiya Divas, is the president of which country? Maldives, Indonesia, Fiji, Suriname, none of these. What's your answer? Very important question. Chief guest of an international event that India convened. Very important. Very correct. Suriname President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi. Chandrika Prasad Santokhi is the chief guest of the Bharathiya Divas. He is the president of Suriname. 16th edition of the Pravasi Bharathiya Divas convention was held virtually on 9th January 2021. Pravasi Bharathiya Samman awards were conferred by the Honorable President. So, who all got the awards, please take note of. The main theme of the current convention is contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat. President of Suriname, Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, was the chief guest of the event. So, thank you very much for watching the day's program. We discussed a few questions, we discussed the newspapers reasonably in detail. Don't limit your reading to the topics that I suggested. Read the entire newspaper, spend 2 quality hours. You have to read, then only you can improve. Let our connect with the world improve, let our information level improve, so that we can grow confidently. When an interview comes, all these things will heavily matter, your level of confidence will matter. I used to tell you that an interview is a test of one's level of comfort. It's not just a test of information. You can be comfortable if only you have a confidence that you are adequately informed. So please read. Goodbye. We shall meet again at 3 o'clock with another session which will also be open to all the people. Thank you. Have a good day.